Is up, everybody? If you are here, you are happy because it is the happy hour for UFC Austin with me, Monk, aka MonkMMATics, and Lou Betya. Lou, are you looking forward to this card as much as I am?
I am. I have a lot of good spots that I like. I like that it's an early or card 4 p.m.
Yes.
on the East Coast. I'm going to say this right now. I am not 100% right now. I don't feel great. I'm having like a Jordan flu game. But for the one person that's live right now, we thank you for being here. And we're going to get through it. And I'm going to give you the best goddamn advice I am capable of. I had a little bit of a bad week 2 weeks ago, dude. Morales in the distance would have saved me. It was a bad week.
Yeah.
I'm still good for the year, but now I'm not as good. Now I gotta end. I gotta get these this week and 2 weeks from now strong.
Yep.
Because next week I do not foresee myself having like a lot of action on that card.
Yeah, the football game is still going on. I saw that. I went to Amazon to buy something, and of course they were trying to throw their dirty NFL product in my face. And I saw it was a 6-point game with like 3 minutes left. So I'm sure it's in overtime somehow.
No, it's over. The game's over. Shout out to Brady for winning like 3,500 tonight on same game parlays, dude.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, he killed it.
Damn, Christmas in November. There we go.
He did good.
Love to see that. Love to see that. Well, if you're here, hit the like, hit the sub on the MMA Engine channel, and me and Lou will get through this banger of a card. Any card is considered to be a banger card when you compare it to next week, but we won't look ahead here. We're not better than this card right here. So let's get started with everybody's favorite fight. Jamie Lynn Horth taking on Veronica Hardy. Minus 250 fight goes the distance, plus 195. Minus 170 for Jamie Lynn, plus 145 for Mrs. Dan Hardy. 8,500 and 7,700. Lou, let's not forget, dude, that this fight is in Texas. Yes, I am going. I just had to work that in there. But we all know about the Texas referees. So let's keep that in mind for this entire card. What do you, why don't you start us off?
There are a ton of under 1.5. There are a lot of under 1.5 in this card. So I think they even know, like, we don't want them involved.
I think I'm a backup judge, actually. So something
I mean, look, if you got Horth at minus 108, like, awesome, you did your job. If not, I would never bet her at this number. I don't have a bet on this. I won't be betting it. I'll be watching the beginning of Alabama, Georgia. So what I will say here is I just don't know. There's not enough data points for me with Hardy. Like, she looked good against Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller stinks. She can't defend a takedown. She's no striking. Like, I don't know what she does well.
These are the comments I do this show for.
I don't know what she does well. I mean, she looked great, but again, I'm not willing to make that as an outlier, like, for this fight. And Horth looked good up a weight class against Haley Cohen. I don't rate Haley Cohen very highly, but I do think she's physical and strong. And Horth had a lot of success in the clinch. I think she might be the stronger fighter here. I don't know if she's the better striker. We're going to find out, but I'm willing to just not bet this one at all. And yeah.
Nice. Brady, congrats while you're in here. I know you're probably popping bottles right now.
Yeah, I gave the shout out. He wasn't here.
He probably wasn't here. So yeah, it's worth another congrats for sure. And Daz, do you think you could fit Jamie Lynn Horth's eyes in between Anna Taylor-Joy's eyes? Do you think that's possible? I think it's pretty close. Yeah, this fight, everybody's talking about Jamie Lynn Horth and Veronica Hardy looked good in her last fight, but Juliana Miller sucks. I'm not making fun of that because that's literally what you and me and everybody else has said this week because it's not wrong. But yeah, like you also said, you followed it up at least with Haley Cohen also sucks. So yeah, everybody's talking about Jamie Lynn Horth's size. Guys, it's 3 inches of height and 3 inches of reach. And this is according to the UFC stats. So and take it from me, a guy who is literally reading every single stat page since 2001 up until today. They are wrong constantly. They've messed up every single person's birthday from UFC whatever to all the way up through UFC 100. If it's like they fuck everything up. So I'm just saying we'll have to see her at weigh-ins. Yeah, maybe she probably is a lot bigger, but Veronica Hardy's got the experience. And I'm just saying there's no way. What's up, Wheezy? There's no way you can bet Horth now. Like you said, If you get her at plus 108, fantastic. For DFS, throw either one in your lineups for GPPs. I'm personally leaning Hardy, and I'm probably going to be wrong. Don't play this in cash at all. Just don't. It's ugly. Speaking of, Wellington Turman taking on Jared Gooden. Fight goes all three, minus 130, plus 100, minus 190 for Turman. My God, can you imagine putting minus 200 on
in
Turman
this economy
or any other economy? And Jared Gooden, plus 165. Can you imagine betting Jared Gooden ever? Well, in this case, I think maybe Lou might tell me I'm wrong, but a small bet on Jared Gooden might be okay. Wellington Turman is a decent fighter, but he doesn't like do anything. He waits and waits and waits, and he's waiting on his opponent to do something. Jared Gooden's not really the type of guy you want to wait on, although he doesn't have much. He does have some power. This fight's a shit show, to be completely honest. Again, this is a GPP fight. I will be playing Jared Gooden in bigger tournaments at 7,200 in case he gets the knockout. Wellington Turman, same thing in case he gets a sub, but Turman scores historically low. 81 against Serkinov, 74 against Alvi, whom he went to split decision with. This fight's a shit show. I would not be betting Turman at that number or putting him in my lineup a ton at that number either. Don't play this in cash unless you need a super low punt play underdog in Gooden. What do you got, Lou?
Yeah, I mean, I like fight goes the distance here. I don't have a bet on this fight either. I say this every time he fights. Wellington Turman looks like this dude I know, except he's Brazilian, and I don't like the dude that he looks like. Like, I don't like him.
Lion tattoo.
He's Brazilian. Tommy will understand this joke. He's Brazilian James Walsh. I can't stand that dude. He's annoying. Yeah, this is definitely a crab fight.
You can afford the shampoo now, Brady.
I wanted to get to Gooden. I did, but like honestly, I know like everybody keeps bringing up Sam Alvey, but like, look, Turman's now training with like Teixeira and Alex Pereira. Like he's training with better people. He's still 27. He's working on his striking. It looked better against Randy Brown, who I think this is a big step down from Randy Brown. He was very competitive there. And I think that's why you're seeing the number you are. So I'm going to pick Turman for the sake of the show. I'd probably lean Turman decision. But, again, I will be watching Alabama, Georgia for the first two fights of this card.
I still have, I'm in Texas. I know that's not SEC country, but who knows? Apparently, the USC is
next year.
Is joining the Big Ten. Yeah, so now the Big Ten is going to have USC and Rutgers in it. At what is happening, Lou? Tell me. I grew up rooting for Nebraska in the Big 8. Now tell me what the fuck is. I'm just glad I stopped.
Everything is getting realigned now, and it's like super conferences. But I actually like it because like Texas and Oklahoma are going to be getting their asses kicked by like Bama and Georgia every year. So like that's fine by me.
I will always root for Texas to lose.
What's weirder to me is you're getting like Oregon and USC going into the same division as Penn State, which makes no fucking sense.
No,
like
that's what I mean. Penn State, Maryland, I think, and it's just like USC's in there. Fucking hell.
I'll give some bonus college picks that I like this weekend down the show if anybody's interested.
There we go. Because I have a feeling we're not going to take a ton of time on some of these fights. I'm not saying we're rushing through anything. Lou's not feeling my voice still coming back, Lou. I had a respiratory thing. I've got people down here that are sick as well. Something's going on. I'm not saying super virus, but Jesus, don't read the tabloids, my friend. Rodolfo Bellato, speaking of kind of cool but kind of awful chest tattoos, taking on Ihor Pretoria, speaking of the most uncool celebration that we've ever seen. Minus 550, fight does not go. Plus 375, fight goes all three. Minus 400 for Bellato, the newcomer. Plus 300 for the duelist, who actually does appear to have some pretty good looking portrait tattoos on his arm, to be honest. 9,600 Bellato, most expensive fighter on the card. 6,600. I feel like I'm going to cough, but I'll try to get through it. Nope, here it is. There we go. I love how it came instantly after I said I was going to try to work through it. Yeah, Ihor, I mean, guys, this card has a ton of dogs, in my opinion, that are serviceable for pump, not only for pump plays, but oh, there we go, Jared. I fucking love that it's Guy Fieri. I love that every time. Yeah, exactly, Jared. He's serviceable as a punt play at 6,600. You can put whoever you want in your lineup. You know what I'm saying? Bellato is the most expensive. Yes, Peyton Talbot was the newcomer. Man, this is terrible. Was the newcomer last week and got it done in the second round. Scored a bunch of points. Didn't make the optimal though. Bunch of middling fighters did, and Belato's going to try to do that same thing here. 9,600 is a ton to pay for a newcomer lightweight. So I personally want to see what he's going to do. He does have, I believe, is this the guy that has two? Yeah, he has two. No, I don't know. Yeah, two. I don't know. Two Dana White Contender Series fights. Scored pretty well on average in both of those. Averaged a very good DraftKings points per win if they would have been available for that fight. So put both guys in GPPs. Again, I feel like I'm a broken record, but these three fights, I'm not touching in cash. I'm not putting Bellato in cash. I'm looking for cheaper options in Pateria. Am I going to get to see this dude celebrate live, Lou? Because that would be awesome.
I mean, look, you can make worse bets on this card than Pateria around 1 KO at plus 1050. Like, you could make worse bets than that. I feel like that's his win condition. I don't have a bet on this either. I want to do time props, but like they're so absurd. Like this under 1.5 is the same price as the Brundage one. And we'll get to the Brundage fight later. But like, I know that Bellato sucks against Vitor Petrino, and he seems to not suck against everybody else. Like, I'm saying if you want to play Uhura, you play him round 1 KO. He's got a decent left, I guess. But honestly, I think Bellato can just take him down and sub him immediately. And his sub line is, I think it's plus 350. I have it up right here. It's plus 350 for him to win by submission. I think that's probably a really mispriced line because I think if he does get a takedown, that's how this fight ends in the first or second round. So I'm going to pick Bellato. I know he's Wheezy's ass shaving. I think plus 350 for the sub.
I was wondering who that was. I hadn't heard yet.
And then I'm just going to pull this one up too. I wouldn't play sub 1. If you're going to play sub, it's plus 350. Sub 1's 540 on Bet Parks, but sub 2's plus 1,600. So I think that's interesting.
Oof.
Let's put it this way. I'd rather play sub than sub 1. I don't think you're getting a real like boost, but sub 2 at 16 to 1, kind of interesting. So I haven't bet it, but like finally a fight I care about.
In this economy,
1,600 for round 2 sub for Bellato.
There we go.
It's definitely it's a prop to consider.
And
then maybe bet.
Melky Costa taking on Steve Garcia. My God. Minus 250 fight doesn't go. How is this fight minus 250? Holy shit. Plus 195 does go. Minus 251 for Melky. Plus 211. I wonder what his hair is going to look like this week. 8,900, 7,300. Lou, why don't you get us started here?
Okay, so this is an awesome. I am really excited for this fight. Like, I will stop watching Alabama, Georgia for this one. So everything tells me that Costa is so much better everywhere and that I should bet him. But you know what he's not better at? Being Steve Garcia.
Ding dong.
So here, I'm going to make a case for Garcia here. All right. Now look, in all fairness, I think the guys that Garcia's bonked, the bonk lord, Steve Garcia, I think the guys that he's knocked out are not the best chins, are not the best strikers. Okay. The flip side of this is everybody's talking about like, well, Costa's got really good durability. He was only knocked out once in his career. Right. But dude, the guys he's fighting on the regionals, like this Moises guy, Melo, Rodriguez, like all these dudes he fought are submission guys. They're dudes with really limited striking. The one dude that had striking, this guy Tom Santos, who's not good, like he hurt him bad. And I think that Garcia very easily is going to be the hardest striker that he's ever fought. So look, how does Garcia win fights? He's relentless. He fights for your money and he throws bombs and he gets hurt in the process. Costa doesn't really throw a lot of headshots, man. He's more to the body. So like, I think Garcia is going to have, at the very least, he's going to have a window to knock this dude out. And sometimes, look, you just got to, the guys that make you money, you just got to keep betting them. Steve Garcia is a dude that's made me a pretty good amount of money, and you're getting him at 2 to 1. So, and I played the KO. I already played it. because I hate money. But Bonk Lord Garcia is gonna pull this off. Like, I think he can hurt Costa. I really do.
So Mr. Garcia's got 5 UFC fights. Yay.
And under 1.5 is still plus money. And I gave that out Tuesday with Big
shit.
Steve. It was plus 135 on Tuesday. Now it's like even money, but still.
Yeah, Steve Garcia he's top 5 as far as what I call historic profitability. If you bet on $100 on every UFC fight for every fighter, what's their ROI? 3 of those guys have one UFC. Actually, Jamie Lynn Hort, the other 2 are DWCS. We throw those out. But Neil Dariush has an 84% ROI. He had a crazy couple of lines there. Steve Garcia would be second at 52.97%. So, yeah, Bonk Lord, excuse me. Let me, lest I forget to address him by his proper title, Bonk Lord Steve Garcia. Yeah, play Bonk Lord Steve Garcia in GPP. Like, just go over the field. Whatever you think you should play him, throw him in an extra 5%. He's going to make or break your GPP lineups. Hopefully, he's what they call, and I hate when people say this, but there's no other term for it, a slate breaker at 7,300. So throw him in your lineups. Hell, he's made the optimal lineup in 2 out of his past 4 fights. Don't forget when he bonked Chase Hooper at 7K, or when he bonked Shailan Nerdembeek at 7,300. That's 2 in a row. We could get 3 bonks in a row here, but Melky Costa, I wouldn't really play him for GPP. Well, that's not true. Steve Garcia also gets cracked, as Lou said. So play Melky in whatever tournament you are playing in. I think he's good for cash. And Mr. Bonk Lord, definitely get him in those GPP line. This fight is going to be super, super fun. So a lot of people looking forward to this, and rightly so. Next fight, Drakkar Klose taking on everybody's favorite guy, Joe Solecki. Plus 110 fight doesn't go. Minus 140 does go. Minus 125 for Drakkar, the ever so slight favorite over Solecki at plus 105, and the DraftKings salaries still reflect that. Second closest line fight on the entire card. I'm honestly leaning Joe Solecki here. I believe Drakkar Klose. Well, then I won't say too many numbers. I think Drakkar Klose, yes or no, just had ACL surgery recently, and he's since recovered from that, but still, that's a thing that I believe happened. I think this fight's really close either way. Not my favorite fight from a DraftKings perspective. No guy scores really well at all. Against Rafa Garcia, Klose put up 78. He did put up his one good score is against the highlight reel Brandon Jenkins, not Leroy Jenkins, Lou. I'm sorry. Not Leroy Jenkins, but Brandon Jenkins, who has long not been in the UFC. Other than that, he hasn't put up 100 points, I don't think, on anyone. And he hasn't even put up like 80 points. So Joe Solecki, again, the same thing. Beat Carl Deaton, put up a bunch of points. Beat Austin Hubbard, put up a bunch of points. Those guys no longer in the UFC. So what are we doing here? I think this fight has decision written all over it. Winner scores 70-80. And I'm not too interested at all, to be completely honest. I'd rather play the 8,200 8K fight. My pick, I'm picking the underdog here, Joe Solecki. Why not? Let's get it done. Let's get it done, Joe. What do you got for this one here, Lou Betya?
Okay, so yeah, he's someone.
Yeah. The human highlight reel. Oh my God.
Let's go,
16 and 11.
Jenkins.
Let's go, Brandon Jenkins. 16-11, very formidable record.
So I don't have a bet pre-fight, but I'm planning on, depending on how I think he looks, I will live enter on Drakkar Klose. I think Solecki wins the first round at a pretty high clip. We don't know what Klose is going to look like off the torn ACL. So I have some things that I'm concerning. Now, why do I want to live bet Klose if he can get backpacked and taken down and controlled? Number one, I don't love Solecki's cardio. I think Solecki could win the first 2 rounds and then maybe, hopefully not die on the feet. Just on memory, I'm like, man, Drakkar Klose never really fights with like super urgency. But then I went back and watched, and then I looked at some of these numbers, and the one thing I noticed is I forget the one fight where he didn't. I can't remember which one it was, but he's had more strikes in the 3rd round every fight he's been in by like leaps. It's not like 50 strikes in the second, 52 in the 3rd. There's a couple of these fights, it was like 51 strikes in the second, 76 in the 3rd. It's like 5 fights in a row. where his output is like 50% more than it was in the second round. So that shows me he's a guy fighting with urgency, even though like maybe the eye test isn't there, but it's a dude throwing a ton of volume as these fights go on against a guy like Selecki, who I think cannot grapple at that pace for 15 minutes strong. I think if Close looks good, he's going to be able to win the third round at a pretty high clip. He may get him out of there. The round 3 KO is 14-1. I would need more. Close isn't a notorious finisher. I would need a little more, I would think, to bet that. But I think he can take over as this fight goes on. So if Close looks like he's okay, I mean, Selecki's not going to be like raining down hammers and like causing a lot of damage. He's just going to eat minutes up. So if I think Close's leg looks okay, and you're giving me plus 250 or better on him, like after one, I'll take it. If not, if Close wins the round, or if Selecki's just dominating him, okay, like I didn't lose any money. But I think that's the way to play. Either if you're going to play anybody pre-fight, I get the play on Selecki. I get it. But I think my preferred way is a live entry on Close.
Yeah, and even then, plus 105 is not the world's best number on Joe Selecki. Here we go. Zach Reese taking on, I know, Cody Brundage. -5, another -550. Doesn't go to decision, plus 375 here. -230 for the newcomer. Huge favorite over Mr. Brundage at plus 195, 9,300, 6,900. Lou, please, you got to get us started here.
All right. So, full disclosure, me and him had a nice conversation last night.
Oh,
he reached out to me. You know, look, man, forget about fights. Like, I'm like, he's the guy that fights the professional that's become like a good friend of mine. And like the problem that we have in our, I don't know if I want to call this a profession, but in this thing that we do is I try to write the most honest assessments I can. So when I talked about the Malkoun fight, and I'm not going to break the whole thing down, I gave my opinion. And I also had made it very clear, if you were parlaying Malkoun, you fucking got what you deserve. You shouldn't be parlaying a guy with no finish equity. Like, I'm just in general. And I even said, I'm like, did he look -500? Absolutely. But I just don't like those kind of plays. Not for me. And I know Brady won like $18 million on the round 1 KO, just like he drew it up. So I'm talking to Cody, and it's like, and I won't reveal like all. I will say that he's got a little bit of an extra motivation this weekend. I'll disclose it off air to you. I don't want to say it on air. But so I have to separate myself from like me being his friend and me being an analyst, and he understands, you know, I have to do my job. So here's what I'm going to say. No matter what you think of Brundage's performance in the UFC, we had a situation like this, not at this price tag. We had a situation like this a few months ago. We had Dulgarian versus Francis Marshall, where we had a guy, and I know Dulgarian's more of a traditional wrestler than Zach Reese, but Dulgarian was a guy we had 7 minutes of fight time on, like no tape, against a guy who's has a couple of UFC fights. So it's like, well, what do you do? Like, because you don't know what he's going to look like past the 3-minute mark. You don't know what he's going to look like. And Reese is way more of a traditional striker than Dulgarian, but Reese has really good submissions, it looks like. Again, we're working with like very few data points here. The one thing I don't like, and the one thing I would tell people, you know, hold the phone betting Reese, is I think he keeps his hands really low. Like, he got bonked in the Contender Series fight. The guy, Tommy, whatever his fucking name was, on the regionals, like, cracked him too. Yeah, like, his hands are low. And, like, what is the one thing Cody does other than jumping guillotines? What's the one thing that Cody does really well? He cracks, dude. Like, the dude's got power. And I know Reese he's undefeated and never been finished. I get it. But, like, on the Contender Series, Amarov, like, if he wasn't such an idiot, he probably would have won. Now, do I have to worry that Cody cracks him and then does something stupid on the ground? That's certainly in play. But I think the under 1.5 here at -215 is probably a pretty good parlay piece. I've already parlayed it with something else we'll talk to on this card. It's a big number for an under 1.5, and I don't usually like laying numbers like that. But I just, like, the thing is, if this thing somehow gets out of the first round, I think Cody probably would just be like, I don't have a plan B here. I don't know.
Right.
I think he's very live. His round 1 KO is like, I wrote down the wrong number here. I had it 600, but I think I want to say it's 950. I'm pulling it up right now.
No shit.
I mean, let's put it this way. I'm going to make you a funny compare. His round 1 KO is plus 950. Do you know whose price was the exact same thing? Guido Canetti versus Chris Matinho. And I hit that bet. So I don't I don't mind the shot on Cody round 1 KO. Remember, you do get the DQ in there. So I don't mind the shot. I just like, to me, I feel like if you're betting Reese, you're not betting on Reese, you're betting against Cody Brundage. And if you're gonna make that kind of bet, you're probably better off taking the under, which is 15 cents cheaper, and then you get both their winning conditions. So I don't think Reese is very good, but obviously I worry about like Cody's mentality. But I feel like he knows he has to turn the corner here. I also feel like I've heard him say that before. Now, I will say this. We haven't interviewed him in 2 fights on this channel, like this one and the last one. And as you know, Weezy and I have this impeccable track record of interviewing fighters and them going on to great success. The UFC, they're
very success.
1-6. So not interviewing him may be good.
Dude, the barbers on Embedded have a better record than you guys do.
I mean, Cody's the one. He got the one. I mean, like, I think Cortavius deleted his fucking Twitter account. So, like,
oh my goodness. Oof.
Yeah. But
rough.
I like to enter in a parlay. I can't get to Reese, even if in the distance is like minus 135. It's like, that's a horrible number for a guy with no tape.
Right. Yeah.
So
I don't
I'm gonna homer pick my guy Cody. And like, we were good luck charm for Cody. Like, for the record, we were 1-0 at one point. Weezy and I were 1-0.
True. Jay Perrin started this whole snowball effect.
Well, we just got to interview like fucking John Jones.
Yeah, right.
Like
Iron Turtle.
Right. We got to interview, like, can I interview Bo Nickel next card? Like,
yeah, somebody.
Bo is he's a slim minus 3,800 favorite. Like, yeah, let's interview. Well, I don't want to like fuck Bo over either, but like, so I'm gonna pick Brundage because I think that he has early. I'll pick the round 1 KO, but under 1.5 is the preferred parlay piece, and like, don't interview. Oh yeah. Maybe we'll get Fire Fist on
Don Jones. There we go.
We'll turn her career around. But anyway, sorry for the long-winded. I mean, like, obviously he's my guy, man. Like, I care. So
sure. Well, I'll balance it out because I don't have much to say. I'll actually pick Cody Brundage with you. In fact, I think he's a great DFS play. Honestly, yeah, after the first round, who knows what could happen. But honestly, this Zach Reese dude, 6 fights. I said this on the PSR show last night. He fought a dude. Let's see. His first fight, guy was 1-0. 0-1 after that. His next opponent was 0-0. His next opponent was 6-3. His 2 fights ago, Zach Reese fought someone that was 5-10. I mean, come on, man. What are his strength of schedule is terrible. It's one of the lowest on my entire. It's definitely the lowest in the card. One of the lowest I've ever seen for sure. So I don't trust Zach Reese at all. Please don't parlay him. Take Lou's advice for sure. But yeah, honestly, I think Cody Brundage is a great play this week. He could be another slate breaker here. And Zach Reese, of course, could come out here and do well and score the first round, something after Cody misses the guillotine and is on his back, and then maybe, I don't know, ground him. Who knows? I'm rooting for Cody, to be completely honest. Say what you want about the guy, but he literally took 36, what do you think, Lou? 38 shots to the back of the head in his last fight. So no matter what you think about him and what happened after the fight was over, he did take an incredible amount of damage to the back of his head. So yeah, I'm rooting for Cody Brundage, to be completely honest. I want to see the guy get a win here, and I don't trust one Zach Reese. Look, the wolf tattoo on his shoulder, for God's sake.
Of note, by the way, Monk, much like you, Zach Reese is the only person on this card from Texas.
I'm not from Texas, but
right now you are.
Well, I mean, the word
how many guns do you possess in the room you're in right now?
Not enough.
Okay.
There's always somebody coming, man. They're always coming.
I only got 2 guns.
Well, I got
The
2.
Eliminator and the Redeemer. All right, let's get on to a way more exciting fight. Oh,
Yeah,
look at
guys,
this. Look at this. Look at Margaret's hair right here.
I'm gonna be in the same room as Misha freaking Tate. Oh my, the butterflies are going. Julia Avila, and I don't care what you say about Julia Avila. I dig the hair. I dig it. As a guy with a little bit of a gray streak going on as well, you know, I dig the Bride of
But it's like the
Frankenstein
front
look.
is weird, and then the pony.
None of
Like,
it's weird.
Weird, man.
No, none of it's weird. If anything, Misha Tate's kind of looks weird. If anything.
Well, Misha Tate is weird.
I mean, look at she's 15 pounds of makeup, bro. You hope you don't wear that to weigh-ins. You got to make that weight. Plus 180 doesn't go. Minus 220 does go. Julia Avila, slight favorite at minus 128. And the DraftKings salaries here, the line not paired with the DraftKings salaries. You got to pay a little bit over mid-range to get to Avila. I guess I'll start. This fight sucks. Don't play it for DraftKings. This is probably my lowest rated fight. The winner's likely not going to score 100 unless someone gets beat in the first round, which I don't see happening at all. I guess Avila beat Gina Mazzani, everyone's favorite fighter, back in 2020 in the first round. Other than that, neither of these women have actually, that's not true. Amanda Nunes, I guess we're calling her, finished Misha Tate in 2016 in the first round. So since then, not too much. A lot of decisions. I can't play Avila at 87, and I can't play Misha Tate ever in DraftKings. So yeah, give me. I'm picking Julia Avila. I'm picking Julia Avila. You can't. Her hair's not weird. It's not weird, Lou.
It's very weird.
It's not. I think it's perfectly normal.
The first line of my notes says stop. So that's my analysis for this one on the rare double prego angle. So if you're watching the show and you must bet, just bet the split decision.
See, Lou, you're nah. You're on the wrong side of this
he bet like 6 units on Avila. All the bald dudes. Well, one of the two people on the show is bald, and it ain't me.
Yeah, and Julia Avila, and I'm saying she's got it. With the hair
I can't wait till Big Steve is like 40 and he's like, every fucking thing I said to Lou about him being old is coming back so hard against me right now. I'll be dead by that point. Like, it won't matter. I won't be here to enjoy it. But well, one of these directions I'll be watching, bruh.
I think this is in regards to I think you were talking about. Yeah, he doesn't know. Maybe lose the bald one. Nobody knows. I'm known for my production. Was that it? Just stop, go to the next one.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble. Look at these. Look at these. Is beefcake still a word people use? Punahele Soriano taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. My goodness, middleweight division, minus 200 fight doesn't go. Don't let your girlfriends watch this one, boys. Plus 160, minus 344 for Puna Soriano. Probably much deserved, and he's also a huge DraftKings favorite. Why don't you start us off? Who do you think's going to get bonked? This is a ding dong as well, as Wheezy and Brady would say.
Bar the door, Katie. There's another good one for you.
There you go.
Look, man, this feels like a setup fight. I don't know what Stoltzfus does well. I don't think Soriano's power carries late. If you're going to, I found a line that I like, though, and you don't even have to, in case he gets like the out of nowhere sub and decides to show off like the wrestling. Puna round 1, round 2 is plus 110. I don't think Puna wins by KO in the third at a very high clip. I think if he wins, it's earlier. So I don't mind the plus 110 for him to get a finish on Stoltzfus. I don't love his chin. I really don't know what Stoltzfus does well, like other than apparently get grooming. COVID.
Yeah,
apparently get COVID. I don't know what else he does well. So
I heard he just loves the test.
The pick is Puna. The 1-2 is plus 110. I don't know if I'm going to get there. If I do, it would be small. But honestly, like, man, I just don't want to, like, I don't want to invest any more money in this guy. I just don't. Like, it's not like, and look, I had Kopylov. Kopylov round 2 is like just an auto bet at this point.
Nick Maximov. Yeesh.
But
That
the way
hurt.
he looked against, well, that's the thing is when he loses, he's getting like, he looks fucking clueless. Like,
Dude.
and
For
Kopylov,
15
like,
whole
look, man,
minutes.
I can forgive it because I really like Kopylov's kicks. I really like his boxing. Like, it was a levels thing. But Nick Maximov is limited and one-dimensional, and just absolutely, Soriano had absolutely no fucking answers for this guy. So there you go. Weezy's gone the 1-2. I think if you're going to play him, like, and I don't think his power carries like past that 8-9 minute mark. Like, I think when he's tired,
Right.
So, okay,
Plus,
Steve,
if
you're
he has
your
to
own
win.
show, which I'm the highest rated guy you ever had, and we can do the opinions there, or we can do them on my show.
He has to win so we can see him do the fucking. I'm not going to do it, but the
I don't want to
thing.
see that.
Okay, it's whose is worse, that one or Ian Gary's fucking stupid? I know
Everything Ian Gary is worse.
All right, there you go, perfect. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say here. Soriano should smash early. Love him for GPPs. I'll play him in cash. I'm probably not going to play any Dustin Stoltzfus more than like 5%. What was I going to say about Dustin? I feel like you put it up there. That's good enough for me. I don't know. I feel like I was gonna say something, but I honestly can't remember. I guess the only guy that Dustin's beat is Dwight Grant. Maybe I was gonna say something. I don't know. This fight, yeah, I'm just playing Soriano.
Wasn't that the weekend we had like 3 body snatchers fighting and like?
Yes, dude, it was so many body. It was like him. It was Jesse Ronson, and it was
there's a boxer. It was the body snatcher. We're all fighting.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, I don't know what I was gonna say, so we're just gonna move on. I can't remember. I'm picking Puna for sure, and I want to see the dance. God damn it! If we could get him and Slava Claus together, I mean, dude.
I stand by the fact that because he did his dance at the end of the fight with Sadikov, that I should have won that. They should have graded my bet as a win.
They should have graded it. I think it counts.
The dance is an auto win.
It is an auto win, especially that one. He had so much gusto, for sure. Joaquim Silva taking on Clay. Hold on, I know I made this picture. Did Clay Guida cut his hair? Did he cut his hair for the last fight, or is it like pulled back? It looks cut. I'm not a fucking barber. Clearly,
I thought he did.
Son of a bitch! God damn it! It's like terrible. I don't get to see Clay Guida's hair. Minus 170, plus 140 fight does go. Look at Joaquim Silva looking like he's about to go down the runway. Minus 305, plus 255, 9,100 for Silva, 71 for Guida. Hey, Steve, I can do one haircut really, really well.
High and tight.
Yeah, exactly. I'll start this one. I don't know who in there. I don't know. You can't bet Silva at this line clearly, right? And you can't. I mean, Guida, I guess, is kind of a play. I don't know. This is a fight I'm just going to enjoy. For DraftKings, I'm not too excited for Guida, although he is extremely cheap. That's the only reason I'll probably have him rostered a little bit. He's beat Leonardo Santos and Hot Sauce Holtzman. Yeah, that's true. In his last 5. Silva looked like he had his moments. Everyone talks about the moments Diego Lopez had against Movsar Evloev. Well, Silva had a couple of those same type of moments against Arman Tsarukyan. So I'm picking Joaquim Silva to win, probably late finish or decision, neither of which scores very well, in my opinion. So give me Silva for the win, probably, like I said, round 3 or decision. And yeah, I am excited to get to see Clay Guida for sure. I mean, Clay Guida is the type of fighter that nobody can say. It's like Stephen Thompson, right? Even though people have been talking shit about Thompson, won't take certain fights. Nobody, I don't think, has ever said a bad word about Clay Guida. So, yeah, if you hate Clay Guida, you're probably the problem. So I'm rooting for him in my heart, but my brain is picking Joaquim Silva here. So, Lou, what have you got for this one? Silva in I can't imagine.
Well, it doesn't have the lock symbol next to it, so I can't. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. What? Wait, stop it. No, he's just saying that.
He hates fun. He also hates puppies and rainbows.
I mean, Clay Guida doesn't have. He's not like cool, but like.
So first of all, from a DFS standpoint, I would much rather. I mean, especially in a GPP, I'd much rather take the shot on Guida, like Brundage or Ihor.
Oh yeah, okay.
Where they're like round. They have, I know, but like they have finish potential. Whereas like I don't think Guida wins this fight in round 1. I mean, the price is not because they think Silva's good. This is a price against Guida. I don't like betting those fights, that type of style. I don't think he should be minus 300 against pretty much anybody. I don't think he's going to come in and dominate Guida. The problem is like you're seeing Guida more and more and more. His movements are like, he still has energy, but he's starting to move slower. Like he's not evasive anymore. Like he used to use his feet and his head like constantly for movement. And now it's slower movements. And I do think that like Silva can either just deck him with a big right or like a knee right up the middle. So I know Big Steve said round 2 Silva. And like, I mean, he could do it in 1-1, but I think I'm not betting this fight though. I just don't like the pricing for like the distance is shit. Even the submission, man, it was plus 300. Like for a guy with no submissions, like I'm not really running the window for a plus 300 here. So
I think Clay Guida has the same hair color guy as Ken Shamrock. I mean, come on, look at that, just for men.
I'll root for Guida, like, I mean, just because, but like, I don't need to have any action on this fight. And nothing's really appealing line-wise to me.
Love it. Here we go. Speaking of, apparently, Sean Brady looks like I've seen numerous tweets talking about how old this guy looks. I haven't seen any pictures. I don't know. Sean Brady taking on Kelvin Gastelum. Make sure that's not Nasrat Hackpress. I might be doing a switcheroo. Nasrat is supposed to be fighting next week, so might have a Freaky Friday type situation going on here. Just keep your eyes on these two guys, all right? Minus 140 fight doesn't go. Plus 110 fight does go. Minus 120 for Brady, plus 100 for Gastelum. Gastelum looking like a super thick boy in that picture, 8,200 and 8K. I will start us off here again. Sean Brady. I'm picking Sean Brady. We'll just say that. I think he's catching a lot of shit for his last fight against Bilal Muhammad. Mostly it's because people hate Bilal. And so if Bilal beats you, you must be terrible, right? That's the transitive law of MMA. And wiki capping. So everyone is hating on Brady. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I've seen in my very, very small circle of Twitter sphere this week. So Kevin Gastelum, I mean, man, this dude's only 32. For some reason, I thought he was like 36. He last beat Chris Curtis. So honestly, Lou, I think we have to pick him. This dude fucking put Chris Curtis
friend of the channel, Chris Curtis,
via unanimous decision. So we love to see that. I mean, that warms my heart. So honestly, I mean, maybe someday you and Kelvin Gastelum can share a beer and talk about how the time you guys both beat Chris Curtis up in a fight. So yeah, I'm gonna pick again, head is picking Sean Brady because I really do think he's much more skilled. But Kelvin Gastelum, I mean, one of the toughest fighters, no matter what division this is at, toughest fighters that there is. So you can never count him out. I don't like him for DraftKings. I like Sean Brady's upside much more for DraftKings, and at his salary, they're basically interchangeable. So I'm playing Sean Brady as far as GPPs. I'm probably playing him in cash as well. But it would be nice to see Kelvin Gastelum get his hand raised for sure. So yeah, give me Sean Brady. And that's how I'm gonna play this one. What have you got for this? What should be a really a banger of a fight for as long as it goes. Dueling staph infections.
We already have the dueling pregos, and now we have the dueling staph infections.
That's great.
So this is one of my favorite bets in the card. I like Kelvin Gastelum here.
Oh my goodness.
I think this is a bad matchup for Brady. I don't know about him falling over like that in terms of, I mean,
look how thick he is. Look how thick he is, guys. And I put it, if I moved this picture up, he's like a fucking redwood.
I think that when you go back and like, I have the Philly bias, but I think when you go back and look at some of Brady's like more recent fights, I think the writing was on the wall that eventually like he was going to get owned. I mean, Chiesa had a lot of success against him.
Chiesa was almost done, turns out.
I mean, Jake Matthews had success on the feet. And I think with Gastelum, like he's at fight ready.
Yep.
And I've said this on Big Steve Show Tuesday, but I feel like this is going to be my one unique perspective of the week that I can have. Santino DeFranco is like a massive Sean Brady fan, like massive fan of his, like studies him, loves the way he gets people against the cage, works the trips, works the takedowns. Like he loves it. And I think because Santino is such a fan of Brady's takedowns, especially like not in open space, but the ones against the cage, that's all they've been drilling Gastelum on in this fight. if he loves Brady's technique, it means all their training is how to stop it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And I think that's where Brady would have the most success. I mean, look, if Brady's taking him down in the middle of the cage, okay, this bet's probably fucked. But every second this is on the feet, Gaslam is going to absolutely just be tagging him. I mean, like, and I'm not trying to do like, I don't like the whole transitive property. I don't like having to do this, but it wasn't just that Bilal Muhammad made it look easy. Like even Chiesa was having striking success. Like I think Brady's striking defense is bad. And Gaslam is the best boxer, pure boxer that he's faced. And I like the 170 move for him now because it looks like, I mean, all the pictures he's been showing all week, it looks like it's not a hard cut. Like it looks like they've got him like.
And that was always the issue.
Well, the issue is he just wanted to like smoke weed and eat. And he's like, fuck it, I don't want to lose the weight anymore. And I think maybe now he's like just trying to take it a little more seriously. I think Fight Ready is going to be a good move for him ultimately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this spot for him quite a bit. So Gaslam and the in the distance prop or the KO prop is like, oh no, I did the distance because it was like 15 cents more for the KO. I think it was 275 when I looked, but I mean, if this is on the feet for the first 2 rounds, Gaslam's knocking him out.
Yeah, definitely doesn't need to use Just for Men, Kelvin Gastelum. Oh, and I remembered what I was going to say. You mentioned a podcast. I was listening to Martian and Ozzy. Be sure to check those guys out. Ozzy was on one this, so I think he called Martian a moron like four or 5 times. It's so fucking funny, dude. He goes, "You're a fucking moron," just so hilarious. Obviously, they're joking, you know what I mean? But he was telling a story about how Sean Strickland was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about how he was sparring with somebody at the gym, and he was like, "Yeah, so I'm in the UFC too." And he's like, "What? How are you in the UFC?" He's like, "This guy's fucking trash." Blah. It was Dustin Stoltzfus, apparently, is who that story was about. So every time I hear that story, I just have to share it. It's so fucking funny. And another reason why Sean Strickland is a national treasure.
Just for the record, by the way, talking about Gaslam's takedown defense and like this, I just want to bring up a point here that Chris Weidman took him down 7 times in 2017.
He's pretty good at wrestling.
Well, he's never been taken down more than once in a fight other than that. So, like,
there you go.
And yeah, he's not facing like the purest wrestlers out there, but he's certainly facing guys that want to get the wrestling going. I'm like, Adesanya's not trying to get the wrestling going, but I mean,
well, as you know, Sean
sorry, Whitaker took him down 4 times. I'm sorry about that. That was a weird
Brady
fight.
does his best work on the ground. His jiu-jitsu's up there.
Yeah, Whitaker took him. Yeah, I know.
But I mean, those 2 guys, Whitaker and Weidman, those guys, towards the top of the division.
This is a big step down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I just think that's important. There's a big step down.
Now, Figgy, down or up, at least he's taking a different step, for the love of God. This guy, how are we supposed to read this guy now? He's fought Brandon Moreno 4 fucking times in a row, taking on Rob Font. Finally, a change of scenery. Minus 140 for, or fight doesn't go. Plus 110 does go. Minus 141, slight favorite for Rob Font. Plus 121 for Figgy. 8,800. You got to pay up for Font, 74 for Figgy. And this one, as you know, obviously, Rob Font didn't drop down. This one is taking place at bantamweight. Why don't you start us off on this one, Lou? Who do you got in this bantamweight fight with Figgy stepping up?
He's talking about a fight that happened 7 years ago with Tim Kennedy. Like, come on.
Who? Figgy?
Melon in the chat. Is Kelvin Gastelum the same fighter he was 7 years ago?
Oh,
like,
Tim Kennedy.
Come on, dude. Like, stop with a fight from 7 years ago. Stop it.
Yeah, that's tough.
Come on, he knows too. He's fucking with me. So I like Font here. I wanted to take Figgy when I saw the price. I really did. And I'm trying to think, like, so Figgy has 2 paths here. He gets the leg kicks going, or he gets takedowns. Okay. And he's at Fight Ready, which, like, we respect those guys. Here's the problem. I don't know if he's going to be able to really be able to get the kicks going. I think that Font uses his range well. I think he's going to be able just to land the jab at will against Figueiredo, who doesn't have great striking defense anyway. I mean, Moreno's was a champion. Like, I'm not criticizing his skill set, but Font hits harder. He's bigger. He's certainly a purer boxer. Moreno's more like just a bulldog. But so if Figgy can get takedowns and hold Font down, then that's great. but I don't think he can do what Sandhagen did. I think people like I don't know. I just don't think he can. And Font took that was a couple of days' notice to take that fight. Font's been preparing for this. If he can stay every minute this is on the feet, he should have an advantage to stay at range, pop the jab. I don't think he gets a finish here. I think this fight probably, if there's going to be a finish, it's probably on the Figueiredo side. If it goes the distance, I think that Font just jabbed him for 15 minutes. So I'm playing Rob Font here. And I have a feeling, the funny thing is I like Font a lot here. Figueiredo could definitely look minus 500 at some point in this fight.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's a terrifying bet, but I like Font here.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Figueiredo's 5'5". Corey Sandhagen's much taller. I mean, much different body.
He's a huge 135er.
Oh, Lou Betya fan club showing up. What's up, Blom?
Dog?
Yeah, if this was a 5-round fight, I might think about stacking this fight just because I think either guy could go off. Rob Font put up 114 in a loss against Cheeto Vera. Yeah, that was a 5-round fight. But both of these guys score very well in 5-round fights. Usually win or loss, they score okay. This is a 3-round fight, so I don't know how excited I'm going to be for DraftKings. I'm excited to watch it. I think Figgy is probably the better GPP play just by a hair. A, he's cheaper. B, his winning upside, his scoring upside is probably a little bit better than Font, just a little. But I think Font could also do work in there as well. So it's kind of a standard answer, but honestly, this fight, it's almost impossible to predict what's going to happen. So you're just going to want to have both sides. So I'd be on the 20 to 25% on both sides of this one. I might have just a little bit more Figgy strictly because he is cheaper and he's 7,400. Yeah, and Blomdog said it right there. I'm scared of Figgy at 135. We all talk about how awful he looks at every single weight cut. This dude looks like a fucking a specter, floating to the scale. 135 should do him a hell of a lot of good because, yeah, it's 10 pounds. Like what? Every weight class is 10, 15 pounds. That's almost 10% of that dude's entire body weight at 12 or at 125. So it's going to be a big difference. I think Blom's onto something there. I think Figgy, like you said, Lou, could look up to 500 at any point. And if he finishes the fight at that point, well, then he's going to be another quote unquote slate breaker. Look at me using the word 3 different times after.
You're going to know if this was a good bet or a bad bet in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, if Figgy hits him, it's going to be how does Rob Font react to getting hit by Figgy once? That's going to.
I mean, in all fairness, though, like I was on Font big against Yanez, who I know Yanez is coming off 2 losses in a row. Like I get it. Yep. I get that Yanez has very bad striking defense. But if you want to talk about somebody who is an absolutely terrifying striker to go against, it has to be Yanez, especially. So I don't think, Figgy moving up, I don't think he's going to have the pure power in his hands that Yanez did. It's the grappling upside that really worries me.
Right, which Yanez does not possess.
Yeah, and Figueiredo is just he's an angry dude.
Yeah. Although I gotta, the meme that lives in my head I don't even know if it's a meme. It's really just a Photoshop picture of Figgy painted green like a goblin. And then one of the referees is like a wizard and Ali Abdelaziz is like something. That is one of the best things that's one of the best pieces of art I've ever seen. Put it in the fucking Louvre immediately. Jalen Turner taking on Bobby Green, and do not let the pictures fool you. These guys are not the same size. No one is the same size as Jalen Turner. Well, maybe like a middleweight. 6'3", 75-inch reach. Stepping up on short notice because Dan Hooker fucked up his arm. And it's fucked up if Dan Hooker's pulling out one of the toughest sons of bitches probably in all of the world. Not just the UFC. Minus 150 doesn't go. Plus 120 does go. Turner almost a 2-1 favorite here. 8,900, 7,600. I'll start this one off. Play this fight. Play it. You want Bobby Green for obvious reasons. Yes, he fucked up Grant Dawson in the last fight. He fucked up Tony Ferguson in 3 rounds before that, scoring 107 points. And he's made the optimal lineup in 4 out of his last 8 fights. And he's fought 8 times since 2021, guys. 8 times in 3 years. Love to see it from King Bobby Green. And he's only 7,600. You know what he can do. He scores almost 4 points a minute. He's averaging 117 per win over his last 5. Yeah, I love to see it. And Jalen Turner, I mean, if you can't get inside this guy's range, you're going to get pieced up with legs, with arms, feet, elbows, everything that this dude has. He's going to throw it at you. Speaking of optimal, he's made it 3 out of his past 5 fights since 2021. That's a total of 7 out of 13 times between these guys. Just play this fight. We do have the unbalanced or unnatural salary aspect as well, where the salaries are fucked up. Jalen's $8,900. Usually that guy would fight a $7,300 guy, but on short notice, it's fucked up. So I'm just gonna play this fight. Give me Turner. I'm picking Turner. But would not be surprised if Bobby Green does Bobby Green things. So I'm playing a shitload of this fight. Might be my most owned fight of the entire night, Lou. Any bets jumping out to you in this co-main event?
So I had mentioned before the live entry on Close was going to be one of my favorite plays. Live entry on Bobby Green is probably
I was waiting for that.
I mean, but you can't do anything yet. Like, even if you love the Turner side, even if you hate Bobby Green, you love Bobby Green, whatever, you can't do anything yet. You got to see what he looks like on the scale.
Yeah,
like
Turner.
Because the guy on a short notice, he may look like shit. And look, man, I don't always love to Estevam just looked like shit. Like we see,
he missed weight in his last fight, didn't he?
Yeah. But I'm surprised they didn't do this at catch weight. But or unless Bobby Green was like, no, bitch, like you fucking doing it, like
you.
And like, look, it's a horrible stylistic matchup for Green. Like, he's gonna struggle to get his boxing going. He's gonna struggle to get inside. But the short notice nature of this fight is what I don't love for Turner. Like, yeah, you have to see what he looks like here, man. Like, if he came in at 162, it wouldn't shock me. Like, we'll see what he comes in at, but I didn't love his cardio on a weight miss last time against Hooker. And Bobby Green throws tons of volume, man. Like, and not only that, but he's got a little bit of momentum, man. He's coming off a main event, like an awesome performance and a main event of a card. Like, they're starting to get behind him. They're giving him higher profile fights. Like, look, man, even the Ferguson fight, like, yeah, it's a setup for him to win, but it's still a name. It's still like he was on a main card, like it was a pay-per-view, right?
I hope he's getting paid for these, man, because
I mean, they're giving him good spots.
Like shit about the UFC's pay scale, but they're doing Bobby Green right at what's seemingly the end of his career.
Like, I think Turner, obviously, like the range and the striking and the kicks are going to be like a huge advantage for Turner. But dude, if he fades in the second round, Green's going to be all over him, just landing bombs. Green might even take him down, dude. Like, I mean, he's shown he's happy to do it. So I think he'll mix it up. I think Green wins the third round at an insanely high clip in this fight. So can he win one of the other 2 rounds? Sure. But why bet him at I have 180 on my book. Dude, you're going to get him at like plus 400, 350 after 1. So like, I'd rather just take the shot there. But
if this hits round 3, oh my God.
Also, can we mention the whole narrative that Turner didn't want to take this fight and they paid him more money and now he took it? Like, he didn't want to take this fight on short notice. Yeah.
Oh.
So like, that's why I made that tweet last night where I'm like, yeah, the duress he was under was Bobby Green calling him a hoe.
Sounds about right.
Well,
let's do it with that. Main event of the evening, guys. Hit the like, hit the sub on the MMA Engine. And we've got Arman Tsarukyan. Look at that haircut. Taking on Beneil.
You can set your watch to that.
Benny Dariush. What a nickname there for Beneil. Yeah. We'll see on the scale. It's all about the scale. Minus 200 doesn't go, plus 160 does go. 3-1. Arman Tsarukyan plus 250. The comeback Dariush 92 and 7K. I will start us off so you can take us home on this main event. Again, this is a dog spot that I personally, yes, I think Tsarukyan's going to win, but I think it's going to be a later win. I don't think he's going to Charles Oliveira, this guy, although it could happen. This guy, Beneil Dariush, of course, who's only at 7K. I mean, this dude was on like a 7 or 8, 9 fight win streak. I don't even know, in one of the tougher divisions. I'm I don't get it, man. 7, it just seems way too wide. Yeah, I know Tsarukyan's going on a run, but there were moments, again, I brought it up early in the show, there were moments against Silva that did not look so good for Tsarukyan. He came out of it unscathed, and if you just look at the stats, you would never know that Silva had those moments, but he certainly did. So I got to think Dariush can do the same thing. You know, he can get moments if he gets Tsarukyan on the ground. I forget what fight we were talking about earlier, but if he gets on top of him, I mean, what is, you know, Dariush is no fucking joke. I don't care if he's 34 or not. He's not. Don't let the gray hair fool you. He's not 37, 38, or even 40. He is 34 years old. I think this line's just too wide, man. I'm playing Dariush in cash. I'm playing him in GPPs. Arman Tsarukyan, I guess I have to play him in some GPP lineups just because he scores so well when he wins overall. But I don't think he's going to do that to Dariush. I could be wrong, but I think Dariush, I think we're headed for a round 4, round 5, possibly a decision finish. And man, I'm not counting Dariush out. I might even pick him straight up. And for the show, fuck it. Why not? I'll pick Benny Dariush straight up over Arman Tsarukyan. I think the experience here is going to pay off. And like I said, could be wrong. Tsarukyan's no joke. Maybe he'll be fighting for a title in 2, 3, 4 years. Maybe he'll be fighting Benoit Saint-Denis or something in the next fight or two, which would be extremely exciting. But yeah, give me Dariush for the official pick. What do you got? Take us home, Lou.
So
yeah, exactly. Justin Villegas. Sorry, Lou. I didn't mean to cut you off right when I invited you to start, but exactly. Get you 50 points in a loss.
I mean, the only times we've seen Tsarukyan like dominate and get a finish, I don't even want to count the Silva fight because everybody had like that or 2.5. It was terrible. But like the Joel Alvarez fight where Alvarez is defenseless off his back and can't stop a takedown because he couldn't throw up subs against Tsarukyan. He got mauled. And Giagos, who just has no striking defense and is like there to get crushed. I think Dariush is pretty tough. And look, getting knocked out by anybody is like always a bad look. But he got knocked out by Charles Oliveira. Okay. Here's what I worry about with Dariush. Although I don't think it's a huge deal here. I don't think he defends to the body well. And Tsarukyan to me isn't like a really great puncher. He's a good kicker. Like his kicks are good. Does head kicks, a lot of body work, a lot of leg work. I think if Dariush's cardio is compromised at all, because he did look a little tired against Oliveira, but that might have been an adrenaline dump too. Like that's the thing. Everybody's like, "Oh man, his cardio looks so bad." It's like, dude, I think he like just he was on top immediately, and I think
stakes were high for him.
High stakes, big and like I mean, dude, I think it might have been like just an adrenaline dump. Typically, he's never had a cardio problem. So, like, I'm willing to just say that's an outlier and his cardio is going to be fine here. Tsarukyan makes mistakes, man. He gets hit. I don't think, like, on the ground, yeah, he's always, like, worrying about position. And, like, if he gets Dariush against the cage and he's got his arms locked around him, he probably is just going to eat up minutes and win those rounds. But I think on the feet, it's pretty competitive. I think Dariush's fight IQ is good. And I think Dariush is going to be able to get reversals on the ground too. I don't have a bet on this fight yet. I would never parlay Tsarukyan. I just don't like this kind of price. And I know Tsarukyan's been in a 5-round fight before and Dariush hasn't. But like I've seen Dariush go 15 minutes. It looked like he could have easily gone.
Right.
Against Gamrot, he could have gone another half an hour. Like I think he looked great. So, and that's their common opponent. And like, and obviously, like, you know, we don't want to do the MMA math thing, but
no.
But the fact that Dariush looked great against Gamrot. I thought Tsarukyan beat Gamrot in that fight. Like I had lost my bet. I've watched it back a couple of times. If you had Gamrot and you think he won 3, that's okay. I don't think it's an egregious. But like live, I was shocked. I'm like, I think he won 4 rounds. Like on the retape, I'm like, these two are close. Whatever. Look, I don't think I'm going to even be able to look for a live bet here. Because I'm not certain Dariush can win a decision. I feel like if this fight plays out, I know Gamrot did, I get it. But I feel like if this fight plays out favorably for Dariush, it means Tsarukyan's not really able to get the takedowns going. This is a 25-minute striking fight. And if it is, I think Benny can knock him out. They can get him out of there. I know he's never been finished. I get it. But like, I think Benny can get him out of there. I think Benny could even get like a standing submission. Like he could do some crazy shit. Benny's so talented.
Oh yeah, gets his.
But I feel like this Tsarukyan has like 90% of decision equity. Like he's just getting takedowns, he's mauling them, he's winning minutes. So I'm going to pick. If you have to bet, I would say you have to take the value with Dariush. But do we have like a plus 5.5? I'm going
I
to take
don't
a look
know.
at this. I'd be curious to know.
Also, Benny's got the power of not only his Lord and Savior on his side, but also Elon Musk
If
as
you
well.
think this is going to go the distance, this Benny plus 5.5 is plus 120. And I don't think that's bad. I think Armin probably wins the decision here, but I don't want a guy that's minus 300 if he's going to win a close decision. You never
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
that's not what minus 300 means in my head, anyways.
Yeah, it's my age.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We did it, Lou. We made it through all 13 fights. Enjoy this card, guys, for real. If you're going to be in Austin, shout me out on Twitter. I am going to be. It is my very first UFC card. I've been to some regional MMA stuff in the past, but my very first UFC. That's what happens when you live in the middle of fucking nowhere. For the most of your life, nobody comes and does anything cool around you. So I'm making the drive. Very much looking forward to it. You should look forward to it as well, because next week is some slim pickings, and then we've got one more pay-per-view card and one more event after that next week before 2023 is over. I forgot what year it was for a second. So enjoy these last few cards before the holidays. I don't have any content coming out other than this for the next few weeks. I'm doing just tons of data stuff. That's all I'm doing. I'll talk more about it later. Lou, where can the people find you? And also give them, sorry, I'm not trying to get you out of here. If you wanted to do some football lines, please give them out for sure. And yeah, thanks, Wheezy. Let's enjoy the card on Saturday for sure.
I did the prop show yesterday with Effie from Any Action Sportscast. It was a fun show. All sunglasses in that show. Just want to give my quick NCAA picks. I don't know what to do with this Oregon-Washington game yet. So tomorrow's shit, I don't really have a strong opinion on. But Miami of Ohio plus 7.5 against Toledo. Should be a low-scoring game. Defense is good. Texas team total over 34.5. There's been scoring like crazy. Oklahoma State should not be able to run the ball here at all. Alan Bowman stinks. Their QB. He's mistake prone, and Texas needs style points to have a shot to really make the playoffs. So I like their team total. I like UNLV in an upset. I think they're more well-rounded. And I like Tulane minus 3.5 against SMU, playing with a backup QB. Michael Pratt, Tulane's QB should be, they're just a way more well-rounded team. And finally, in the game of the day on Saturday, Georgia and Bama.
Nice.
This line got away.
7 p.m. What time is that?
4 p.m. I liked, and Georgia, money's coming in on both sides. Now it's down to 5.5. Listen, I think both these teams are like super exploitable. They're bad matchups, defense versus offense. Like both offenses can have some success. I think Jalen Milroe and Bama has been like really good. Last week was a weird game, but he's been all right. And Georgia, like, dude, Carson Beck, this team is like, this is a good team, man. Like, dude, they've won 29 games in a row. So it's a stupid thing to say.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Obviously,
really?
They're a very good team. But I like the over 54.5 here. I feel like it's going to be just like, this feels like a 35. The thing is I'm like nervous about the spread because I can see Georgia winning by 14. I can see Bama winning outright. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of volatility in the line. But the one thing I like the most is that I think points are going to be scored here. I think Georgia's going to get at least 30 points in this game. So if Bama can get you 20 something, this should cash easily. I think Georgia could get you 40. So I like the over way more than I like anything else. That's it for college ball that I like.
And
Yambags. Pretoria Bellato is the Yambag.
Oh, of course.
Sometimes they do the work for you.
Yeah. Of course. Hey, and that's also Orthodox Southpaw. I mean, Lou's right. Just do the work for you.
Dummy against dummy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh,
guy named Ihor against the debutante.
Here, let me explain my fucking finishing dance that I did. Everyone likes when you explain things. Yeah, well, that's it. I don't have to explain anything else. We're done. Let's get out of here. Thank you, Lou Betya. Thank you, chat. Enjoy all the football. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy bare knuckle, Mike Perry and Eddie fucking Alvarez. Enjoy that shit. That should be amazing. But yeah, last but not least, I want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.